Welcome back to the Universal Open Rocket League Grand Finals. A lovely picture here of the Long Island Sound. Just to remind you guys, we're in Stamford, Connecticut, home of NBC Sports, and we are proud to be in the studio. I'm joined now by Jorby and James Bott, this time on the desk. Gentlemen, we're going to be breaking down the bracket here. We just saw that Cloud9 match against Double Trouble, and now we're going into G2 Esports and Complexity. Got some great matches coming up after that. Give me your thoughts on these matchups here.
I mean, for G2, this is Garrett G and JNAPS, two of the most popular and two of the best players in Rocket League, and they've come together here at the Universal Open, and definitely one of the favorites. These are two powerhouses on offense and defense. JNAP's just known for scoring goals, and Garrett G is known for his all-around play.
Yeah, absolute superstars. I mean, you go back and look at just the RLCS seasons. This is the Season 4 MVP and the Season 5 MVP now teaming up together, and JNAPS was actually second in MVP voting this past season as well. So these guys are the best that North America has to offer.
That's right. G2, of course, looking strong, you know? Looking real strong. I'm glad JNAPS was able to make it. No weather complications.
Yeah,
that was absolutely not.
Yeah, that famously last season, JNAPS just, I guess he slept in too long or something, just decided not to show up. And
I thought it was, we were going with blizzard in August.
No, I mean, that's what he says. He says there was snow, but there's no snow in Canada.
Weird things happen up there, man.
Well, he's here. He's ready to play. He's got Garrett G on his team, and they're going up against Complexity. Complexity, pretty scary coming out of EU.
Complexity, Metanaris and Magnus, they're like peanut butter and jelly. You can't really picture one without the other, and these guys got so close in the last Universal Open to taking it all and coming down against Dignitas, who won it last season. These guys are so good.
Yeah, they're back at it here again. Dignitas obviously not here. Complexity, runners-up. They've been runners-up in multiple huge tournaments, so we'll see if they can come in today and really show up.
Absolutely. You said it right there. They were runners-up last year in this very competition, the Universal Open Rocket League. Let's see what they have to say about their chances this year.
We definitely have a stronger chance now, since that was our first real final ever we played in. And now we have the hunger to actually win it. Because that time it was more like we were excited to just play in the final.
Yeah, last year we didn't really expect to even make it, and we were super happy to be in the NBC finals. And this year it's more like we were wanting to be here, and we want to win this tournament.
Incredible. Happy to see the Finns in this competition. Happy to hear them. Now, G2 Esports and Complexity are almost ready to begin. They're just about ready. But before they do, we got a quick word from our sponsors.
So, State Farm will be here to help protect our home?
Of course.
What about here?
Yep.
Here? Mm-hmm. Here?
Feels a little awkward.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
All right, Complexity, G2 Esports. We hyped it up a little bit before that commercial break. Now that we're back, just about to get into the match, gentlemen, Jorby, start us off. Big facts for this team.
Big facts.
Big facts.
Let's see. Complexity and G2. Let's just say that these guys are meeting in the first round, and this is a potential grand final matchup. I think that's a big fact that, you know, with these 8 teams, it just goes to show you how close the competition is. We could see this later in the tournament.
Yeah, a little preview here.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys, Metza and Magnus, almost inseparable. Obviously, this past season, they're going their separate ways in terms of an org, but still showing up here in force. This is going to be a spectacular, world-class series of Rocket League.
All right, well, let's get this game started then. I'm excited. Jorby, James Bott, take it away.
So G2 and Complexity, finally, we are getting it underway. We get to see this matchup firsthand in the first round of the Universal Open. The kickoff starts with a bang. Garrett G gonna throw it over towards the orange half of the field, and G2 gonna look to try to take control early. JNAPS off the ceiling. You see something maybe squishy like we saw in the last series, but it gets quickly turned away. Magnus trying to find a touch, doesn't get it. Garrett G able to throw it away, but Complexity turns things around. JNAPS challenged in midfield. Magnus gonna chase it. Garrett G waiting in the corner, and Magnus has it past him, but JNAPS able to get there, able to get that clear, but right now Complexity starting to get a continued assault here in the blue half.
That was a good touch, though, by Garrett, relieving pressure. It also allows JNAPS to get that mid boost. So just a little bit of feelers coming out from both teams. This is their first match on stage, so we'll see how they respond.
Magnus gonna put it right over Garrett G. It's 1-0 Complexity. They take the lead.
And Metza just getting in good position there, good communication. You see he lays off, Magnus calls him off that ball, takes control, and just does a little side flip flick right over the final defender. A great start for Complexity.
Quick strike for Complexity. G2 gonna look to recover off the kickoff. Magnus beaten by JNAPS. And now G2. It's Garrett G popping it up. No chance, Metzenaris. A quick tie game.
And you know, it's just complete control of his car. He knew exactly what he was doing. Didn't even flip into this ball. Gets a small touch and drives right into it to chip it over Metza, but also gets it right underneath the crossbar. A fantastic finesse shot from Garrett G.
Just like that. It's all about how you can respond as a team as soon as you go down. And these guys on G2, they're two of the best. Metzenaris trying to flip under the ball. Magnus end up losing to JNAPS on the challenge, looking for Garrett. And a good challenge by Metzenaris to get the ball out to the corner. JNAPS trying to get this over Metz, maybe bully him past, but cannot do it. And now Garrett G in the corner. He's gonna have a go at it. Can't get there in time. And he's able to steal a corner boost on his way out. Complexity finally able to clear this away. Right now for G2, they've had some good control, but Metzenaris looking to throw it right back. And Magnus playing very close here, Complexity. Close towards the box and in the corners. And they can't, right now, G2 cannot get it by midfield. Metzenaris, a good read. Not able to get it, not able to get a solid touch towards the net. We're still sitting 1-1 about over 2 minutes into the game.
And that was a scary moment there for JNAPS. He didn't have much boost back. It wasn't the greatest clear from Garrett, but G2 just holding strong right now. And now a chance for JNAPS. He's going to be able to close this one out. Way to stay with it for JNAPS.
JNAPS able to just win the challenge in midfield and then reading it perfectly up the wall to give himself the advantage. G2 taking the lead here almost halfway through.
Yeah, Magnus didn't expect JNAPS to chase that ball down, and it was just a perfect pinch off the wall for JNAPS, and he just stayed right with it, earning that goal for G2.
Garrett G, a quick pot shot towards the net, gets knocked away, and now Metz to Magnus. Magnus try to get back to himself. And G2 able to clear it downfield. Up high, Garrett G looking for the touch. He actually wins this challenge, forcing Metzenaris up to clear it out to the corner. Keeps G2 on the assault. Garrett looking for the shot, challenged and saved by Magnus. JNAPS, then he's gonna have a go off the ceiling. There's shades of Garrett G right there coming off the corner of the ceiling, but not able to connect. Challenged and knocked away for G2. Garrett gonna take point here. JNAPS in support. Garrett just trying to cause havoc in the box.
And he did get those boost steals as well, so Complexity in a tough spot. Metza with a very good clear. But Garrett just intent on keeping this ball in the orange half.
Being very aggressive, but Metz is there. Looking for Magnus, trying to challenge was JNAPS. It does go to Garrett G, clearing it downfield. Metz can't get there, it's 3-1 G2.
And that's the cumulative effect of just taking boost and pressuring players. Magnus and Metza both in the air for that. Garrett recognized it, puts a shot right in the middle of the net. Nobody from Complexity even close to getting back in time. And an extended lead now for G2.
Goes to show you, like you said, what extended pressure, even in twos, can go. We talking to a lot of players yesterday. It can be risky going for the corner boost in twos just because there's less players on the field than you're used to. But still, they're doing it very well and keeping this pressure up well. Complexity is threatening. Magnus looking for the touch. He can't get it out to Metzenaris. G2. Well, Garrett G, is he there to back him up? A mistouch by JNAPS and good save by Garrett G, keeping this 2-goal lead for G2.
And it's going to be an open net here for Garrett G. And he earned this as well on the defensive side. He wasn't able to deny the backboard bounce, but he knew exactly where the player was going to shoot it. Garrett gets the save, and that allows his team to get on that counterattack and get the goal. I'm loving what I'm seeing from G2 right now. And also, just something to note, in twos, it is almost a death sentence if you have both players in the air at the same time.
Yeah.
And we saw Complexity make that mistake, and oh, one off the crossbar there.
Just missing it.
So you just have to be so careful on not committing, or not overly committing, because it is so easy to punish in twos.
Magnus going to give way for Metzenaris. They have 40 seconds to get 3 goals here, but might be looking at game 2 at this point. That's a nice shot off the crossbar. Can they finish it? He goes under, they get a goal. Not exactly out of it just yet.
It's going to be a tough one. 34 seconds left, but a good follow-up from Magnus here. Metza misread that one off the bounce, but a good cleanup. We've seen teams do it before, but it's going to be very tough.
Very tough. You got about 1 every 12 seconds. If you can get a decent kickoff, it's definitely possible, but this one going the way of G2. Magnus back to Metzenaris. Magnus going to try to put a shot on net, but it's off target, and Garrett G gets the clear.
Had he put that a little more to the right, he might have been able to beat out that final defender.
So Magnus just trying to keep it away from the box.
Oh, and that was a key boost steal from Garrett. Magnus had no boost, and now Garrett G also steals the boost from Metza, so just a savage display of boost control by Garrett.
Or maybe get a feel-good goal here to end it. They can't do it though. The crossbar, the worst enemy here in game 1 for Complexity, and just really a lot of early mistakes out of Complexity that gave G2 some of that early lead.
Yeah, I mean, we see shots as well. Magnus had a great game, 2 goals on 7 shots, but Garrett G, the Season 5 MVP of the RLCS, you know, he's talked about as one of the best players in the world, really stepping up this game. G2 has been so good at just continuing to keep that possession and keeping the pressure on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw just a lot of comfort. Even when JNAPS had a mistouch, Garrett G was in position, ready for any kind of thing that would go wrong. And it did go wrong for JNAPS, and Garrett G was still able to back him up. And things started off pretty well for Complexity with a nice little pop-up by Magnus. But after that, it was all G2. Garrett G catching Metzenaris in no man's land, nothing that he could really do about it. And it was just, you know, an onslaught from there.
Yeah, and G2, both JNAPS and Garrett G I thought played well, but especially Garrett getting the hat trick this game, but also on defense he was fantastic. And the pressure in the corners, stealing boost from the mid, just all around what we'd expect from this team. It was great to see Garrett step up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, the boost steals were very critical, and we saw this in the regionals as well. That players that played that really aggressive games, teams who tended to be aggressive. And look, we see the moms getting excited for Garrett G and JNAPS and just cheering them on. You gotta love that. The parents in Rocket League are all fantastic.
Yeah, that's Garrett G's family coming out to support. And you know, it's great always seeing the parents come out to these events and supporting their kids. And you know, Garrett's family especially, just extremely nice people. It's great to see his mom get out here and be able to see him perform well, at least in game number 1. We'll see if he can keep that going in game 2.
Well, game 2 is going to get underway. Complexity going to look to try to tie this series up, but it's going to be a quick kickoff goal. Garrett G, then JNAPS, 1-0 G2.
Just 3 seconds in, Garrett. You know, it's just a little bit of randomness with kickoffs. You saw that, I believe it was Metzenaris was cheating up. He was expecting the ball to just be killed, but because it popped up in the air, JNAPS was a little bit further behind, and he was able to take advantage of it. So there's not a lot of randomness in Rocket League, but on kickoffs, it's very hard to know exactly how that ball's going to react, and fortunately for G2,
good job.
It went their way.
Garrett able to make the save off the flick. Magnus going to spike it in, and it's 1-1. Complexity ties it.
An immediate response. Garrett tried to make the play. JNAPS had jumped previously, and yeah, he did not have a lot of boost to work with. Magnus just reads that off the corner of this ceiling, bouncing right back to him, and we're equalized.
So in game 1, it was Complexity striking first. Game 2, it was G2 and then Complexity equalizing it very quickly in the first 15 seconds of the game. Garrett here against Magnus. Now trying to get past Metzenaris. JNAPS way back, waiting for the clear, now turning on it. Metzenaris gonna flip it up. JNAPS hits it against the post and makes the save.
And those are such difficult situations when you're in those 1v1s and you have a defender with the ball on their hood, they're dribbling it. It's so easy to get psyched out in that moment, but JNAPS held strong and was able to narrowly get that save.
Ooh, JNAPS does get the touch, but it bounces up, defended by Metzenaris, and Magnus is carrying this across the field. Garrett G able to make the save. Now JNaps on the side while waiting, just gonna take the shot towards the net. Metzenaris makes the save. He comes back again, trying to get this ball cleared out, but G2 putting on the pressure right now. Garrett G challenged by Magnus and knocked away. But again, we saw this in game 1. G2 is controlling the midfield, getting those midfield boosts and grabbing those corner boosts, putting complexity. Look, they're not able to challenge this ball when they want. G2 has complete control. Finally, a good clear. Garrett G, he's caught on the tail. He's got to get up and make this save. Metz couldn't get there. Magnus, can he take the shot just high? And Complexity had an opportunity, weren't able to capitalize.
It seemed like Metz was in a perfect spot to take advantage of that outlet pass from Magnus, but he was flipping. It looked like he might have not had the boost and was just trying to flip for speed and wasn't able to correct his course because he was mid-flip. So a chance gone by the wayside there for Complexity, but they're starting to come alive a little bit against this G2 defense.
JNaps just trying to challenge here, get the ball out of the blue half. Garrett G back to JNaps, and they work their way to midfield. Magnus, can Complexity get some offense going? There really hasn't been much of it from him in this series. A pass from JNaps. Garrett G just fakes it out and takes it out to the side, but Complexity still clears it out.
A heads-up play from Garrett, but he still wasn't able to get it by the final defender, but still we're starting to see G2 go for a little more of these passing plays. It seemed in the past more they're just trying to beat these final defenders and force rebounds. We haven't seen a lot of center balls from G2 yet.
It was a decent play by Metzenaris, but Garrett G and JNaps able to cover the field. And G2 find themselves in Complexity's half yet again. Metzenaris gonna try to carry it out, picked off by JNaps. It gets cleared downfield, backed up by Magnus. Pinch right to JNaps, who's ready for it. They can only move it ever so slightly downfield.
And a good decision there from Garrett. He had just enough boost to get to that ball if he jumped immediately to beat Magnus, and he did exactly that. Just awesome to see these guys play at this level.
Well, JNaps in the corner. Was looking for something, but Garrett G there in midfield to keep the play alive. Complexity. The ball's spent about a total of 30 seconds, it feels like, in the blue half, and now JNaps is up high, looking for that touch, but the ball too far away from him. Garrett G not able to get there. He actually got obliterated by Metzenaris, and Complexity's gonna move it downfield. Here's Magnus. Magnus missing it against Garrett G. JNaps gets it back out to him, and G2 in control again. Here's Garrett looking for JNaps and smartly challenged away by Metzenaris.
Yeah, Garrett was a little late on his flick there, needed to do something early, but Complexity came out and shut that down before he had a chance.
Oh, what a shot.
Forcing both defenders up.
JNaps already made his way back to make that save. Complexity, a little bit of offense waking up here. Magnus gets a nice touch. Metz just under the ball, not gonna get there. And that's gonna be cleared downfield, and an easy goal for G2, taking the lead late in game 2.
And that was just a bad misread from Metza here. Perhaps he thought that ball was gonna bounce off the ceiling and come down because he was very far off on that read, and that left Complexity wide open for the counterattack.
Well, now with 48 seconds to go, Complexity finds themselves down yet again. And coming down from 2-0 in the series is not something any player wants to be in. JNaps looking to keep the pressure up. He works the defense and gets it to the box, and stealing all of the boosts in the process. Metzenaris trying to get it downfield, but Garrett, again, great pitch control by G2. Complexity just can't get any sort of juice. A demo could open things up, but they don't have control of the ball.
And Garrett's
going to throw it down 3-1, and that's going to do it for game 2.
That is a secure right here for Garrett. Even though JNaps just got demoed, Garrett passes to himself, stays on the wall. And he only had about 19 boosts to work with at the start of that play, used up every bit of it just absolutely perfectly. And now he seals this game away. It's going to be very tough for Complexity to come back unless they get a kickoff goal here.
Well, they move it downfield. If they score with time left, all hope is not lost. Trying to pass it over to Magnus, but just a little too wide. And the demo coming out will all but assuredly give G2 the game 2 victory here, and that is going to, maybe? Oh, no, there's time left. All right. Something crazy. Something crazy.
I honestly don't think I've ever seen a 1-second goal, but hey, they're still in it. We'll see. They'll have to do. They will have to do something on the kickoff here.
Yes.
So we'll see. This is where a kickoff strategy has to come into play for Complexity.
And if you're G2, you just want to try to spike down into that ball, kill it. That's going to work too. And G2 go up 2-0 in the series, threatening to sweep Complexity in the first round.
And just another fantastic performance from Garrett G. You see 5 saves and 2 goals on 3 shots. So just all around fantastic performance from Garrett G. JNaps also playing flawlessly. These guys are just doing amazing right now. They're not making mistakes. And we saw what mistakes cost you. Metza, he had a mistake on that back, or on the, he thought it was going to bounce off the ceiling, and it didn't. It left his team wide open. They conceded a goal, and that was the difference maker in this game.
And it's tough for Complexity because you might be sitting at home thinking, why don't they attack the ball? Well, they don't have any boost. G2 has just taken every single boost on the field, and starting this game off with a bang was off the kickoff 3 seconds in. Complexity was able to respond, but again, after that, all G2.
Yeah, Magnus, I think he's doing as much as he can for Complexity. He really needs Metza to step up, and this is the play where the game shifted for them. Metza on the misread, a great clear from JNaps, put it on a platter for Garrett G to just finish off that goal, and then Garrett G, again, solo play from him in the corner, an overextension from Complexity, but with only 19 seconds left, you can't really blame them because they're trying to equalize. And then, again, a goal with 1 second left.
You could have a potential hype moment there, but usually that does not end in that way.
Yeah.
So for Complexity, it's just at the beginning of the game finding some way to grab the midfield. We talk so much about midfield control, how important it is in Rocket League, and it's especially important in twos, and G2 is showing you why here. So for Complexity, it's just trying to win those boost challenges. If they can do that, get more boost in the tank, that could really be the difference that gets them back in the series.
Yeah, Complexity needs to take advantage of their opportunities. We even saw the 1v1 dribble chance go away with Complexity not getting a goal, and then Metza with a few misreads. So we'll see if they can clean it up. They're not out of it just yet, but we might see another kickoff goal if Garrett G
Garrett
missed the hit.
Garrett missing it. He ends up getting back to it, beating Magnus to the ball. And now Met's going to try to clear it out, but again, the pressure from G2 early. Complexity going to have some room now. Magnus up high, going to stay on this. Actually loses control. And Garrett and JNaps are going to move it downfield again. Garrett G gonna go up for his own pass, a misread and a whiff by Metzanaris, and G2 is going to keep possession of this ball and stay in the game. Now Garrett passing it out to JNaps. JNaps trying to read his own ball. It's a tough one. Can he get there? He ran out of boost. No luck for JNaps on that, but G2 keeping control, looking for JNaps and tries to pinch it off the post. It bounced, but G2 still with control.
And then another back pass as well. So G2, they are in sync right now, looking for one another, just continuing to keep Complexity on their back foot. But now a chance to respond. And Metza again not reading that pass out from Magnus.
JNaps tossing it out. Magnus shadowed him the whole way. And now Magnus with Metz on the wing, but he's immediately challenged by Garrett G. Metzanaris looking for an angle. There's just no window of opportunity for Complexity right now. And G2 in Complexity's half consistently. JNaps rushing right in with Garrett G on his way out, and Metzanaris gonna try again from midfield. Looking up high, challenged and knocked away by Garrett G. Still in midfield, but JNaps is already on top of it. Looking for the read. Does he get it? Doesn't get that touch, but Garrett G's right there.
Oh,
and a good save by Metzanaris to keep the scoreline at 0.
That was an incredible save from Metza coming off the back wall to get that. And now the ball is going to bounce right in for Complexity. The defense holding strong. And then Magnus just tapping it over Garrett, and JNaps out of position. Couldn't get back in time.
Yeah, JNaps couldn't flip back in time. A great goal for Complexity, a breather as they take the lead 2 minutes in. So the first 2 games had a quick goal in the first 5 seconds. This one, it took 2 minutes. And now G2 looking for a quick response as they've done every time. But Metzanaris here on the point. Gonna try to follow JNaps, but he just gets a great clear here. Magnus tries to keep it away. JNaps trying to zone out Magnus there to let Garrett have some room to come in. And he does challenge and kind of stint the assault here of Complexity. And G2 out to the corner. Metzanaris Unfortunate touch on the ceiling for him. Could have really benefited from a booming clear for Complexity here. They do have the lead right now, but you feel like with G2, they're gonna need more than one.
Yeah, G2, they have not been shut out. They've scored every goal so far, or every game so far. And we'll see if Garrett and JNAP can start getting something going. The defense, though, from Complexity has just been so good, especially that save from Metza that set up that counterattack for their only goal in the game.
Garrett G now gonna move downfield, off the ceiling, finding JNAPS maybe, but JNAPS didn't have the angle. Garrett ends up winning again against Metzenaris, who was just out of boost on his way back to that ball. Garrett up high against the crossbar. JNAP's gonna stay back as Magnus was right there. Now JNAPS with about 7 boosts is gonna throw it over to Garrett. Garrett wins. Garrett looking, but picked away by Metz. Now JNAP's gonna go high. Garrett G tries to slam it in, cannot find it, and Complexity still hanging on to this 1-goal lead, trying to stay alive in this series. Metz gets a wide touch on that ball and cannot get that 2-0 lead.
And that was another very good second touch from Garrett, because Magnus was waiting in the middle and had a great shot had Garrett not getting that second touch.
Magnus looking for Metz, but Metz not able to go up for it as Garrett had the read. Magnus moving downfield at this point. It's been working for them. They've had decent defense. They want to keep trying to kill time. This is dangerous for Metz. He can't get there. Garrett G knocks him out of the way, and JNAPS makes it 1-1.
Just a fantastic bump here from Garrett. He touches it, races over, and gets a bump on Metza, messing up his flip. JNAPS had an easy cleanup from that point. With under a minute left, G2 tie it up.
1 goal never enough to do it at this level in Rocket League, and G2 want to get advantage here and look at a 3-0 sweep into the second round of the upper bracket. Garrett G up high. Does he get this touch? He does, but it's just wide. JNAPS forced back, but again, solid pitch control keeps G2 in possession. JNAPS looking for Garrett, maybe, but Metz finds the touch. Garrett's still there. Magnus way off the ball allows Garrett to keep control. G2 might be seeing overtime for the first time in this series, and for the first time in the grand finals of the Universal Open. Knocks away the ball up high. Will JNAPS try to play it? He's just gonna play it safe. We're going to overtime.
And Complexity, they qualified after 3 straight overtime games against Fnatic. Complexity in the past has had some pretty iconic overtime games, so we'll see if they come out on top here.
Oh, I thought he had it. It was just wide. The post again. Complexity cannot seem to find a way around it. Now Garrett trying to set up JNAPS. JNAPS keeping it in play. Complexity looking for the clear, but Garrett is right there. Now Magnus.
And Magnus is forced to pick up small pads. He was completely out of boost there. So he's just going to retreat as G2 starts their counterattack.
Up high, JNAPS going to look for the shot, and then Magnus comes in, able to make the save. Off the ceiling, Magnus going to look for Metz. He gets it by 1, but it goes way over, and JNAPS able to tap it out to the side.
And that was such a good touch from JNAPS. It allowed him to keep possession and get that boost in the corner. The control from G2 just spectacular.
JNAPS, his positioning all series long has been solid, just knowing when to press and when to pull off. He has been exceptional at that in this series. It has kept G2 up in this series, and it has kept them in these games. Magnus, back to Metz, up high, Complexity stays in the series. You hear the let's go from Complexity, and they go to game 4.
And Magnus, you see utter control from him, stops the ball, passes it out to Metza, and Metza does not miss this time. We've seen Magnus continue to try to generate opportunities for Metza. This time Metza coming through, and they get the win in game 3.
Very solid from Complexity. They were able to hold on to a lead for so long in regulation, and then a couple of solid passing plays, catching G2 on the retreat, gets them the win. That was stellar play there by Complexity.
Yeah, and they needed that defense. The defense is what really helped Complexity out in this one, especially for Metza. This was a game that Metza stepped up. I thought Magnus was leading the charge for Complexity, and Metza needed to step up. He did this game.
Absolutely, and still, I would like to see out of Complexity more pitch control. We saw it in overtime when everything got reset, and they were able to grab it at the beginning. And right here, things started out, and a big miss by Garrett G here allowed Complexity to take it, and they were able to score first. Took about 2 minutes, but they did get that first goal, and that was about all that we had for about 4 minutes.
Yeah, and very limited mistakes and a lot of shots. There were 10 shots from G2, but this bump play from Garrett, a heads-up play, but then in overtime, look at this control from Magnus. Just keeps the ball close to him. He knows Metza is coming through the middle and puts that ball on a platter for him, and Metza puts that shot in an unblockable spot. A fantastic play.
Yeah, Garrett's stepmother still cheering him on, getting excited, but still got some work to do. Garrett does to move on in here. I love the energy. The energy is great.
You can see the sigh right there. Yeah, it was probably her reaction to that overtime goal going in favor of Complexity. But that game, neck and neck. Complexity, though, they were forced to hold off that onslaught from G2. And also Metza getting involved. The question is, can Metza continue to stay involved in this game 4?
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to be careful if you're Complexity with these passing plays, as that can just lead to an immediate goal if you lose an unfortunate 50-50. But game number 4, Complexity looking to force a game number 5. Here in this is the first round of the upper bracket, James. It doesn't get better than this matchup. It's so good. So Metzanaris gonna start things off here for Complexity. Challenged against Garrett. G2 gonna look to move downfield off of JNaps. An early demo on JNaps trying to relieve any kind of early pressure. It does force Garrett back, but Garrett actually stays in midfield. And a good challenge by Complexity will open things up. Magnus, can he find the shot? Just misses the ball, but maybe wanted to get behind it. Can't do it. JNaps and Garrett G. That's an open net, and G2 takes the early lead.
And this was all due to the control from JNaps here. Look at this. He gets the touch and then follows it up immediately, completely throwing off Metzanaris. Metzanaris bit that hook, line, and sinker, and that allowed Garrett G to just clean up that pass from JNaps.
So G2 striking first, looking to close this series out. But Complexity, off the kickoff, want to threaten early. Magnus against Garrett, but it's over to JNaps. Again, Garrett getting bumped by Metz there. A good challenge by Metzanaris, dangerous. And then shot by Garrett G, who goes up and gets it. And it's 2-0 for G2.
Yeah, G2 answering back right there. Magnus actually got that touch there, the miss from Metza, so Metza he's struggling a little bit out of the gate here in game number 4, and G2 just absolutely pouncing on him.
So G2 now, an early 2-goal lead. Complexity off the kickoff. Metzanaris just gonna take it towards the net, takes the shot off of JNaps, takes advantage, and it's 2-1. They cut the lead in half.
And a perfect response from Metza right here. He puts the ball in. JNaps needed to get this ball into the corner. He just gave it right back to Metza, who was expecting a touch into the corner, and Metza cleans it up.
And now Complexity needed a quick response. They got it, but G2's looking to strike right back off the crossbar. It bounces out, and Magnus is going to look to carry it away. JNap's able to challenge him in midfield. Could have been dangerous for both Complexity and G2 on that play, but Metzanaris has control. Pops it up high, and a good touch by JNaps. Back to Garrett, gets it out of G2's half. Now Metz. Headed towards the box. Challenged by JNaps. Magnus gonna keep it in play. Metz gonna follow up, play and slow the change up, but it gets thrown away by Garrett G. Complexity starting to put on some pressure here.
A big win from JNaps. And now Garrett trying to get the dunk. This could be good if JNaps can get back in time.
Well, Garrett actually gets back to it. Magnus going back to secure boost. And now taking a shot, it's just above the crossbar. Now Magnus just trying to keep JNaps away from the ball here. He can't, but Metz gets it. And JNaps giving away now for Garrett G. G2 looking to grab control, hold on to this lead. Metzenaris with little boost, trying to work his way downfield. Magnus now against the sidewall. Does he have another touch here? A little too far away. Garrett, JNaps move down, forcing Metz up. He's able to make the save.
Another passing opportunity. JNaps was just a little too far out of the play, needed to go back and get boost, but still possession retained from G2, and it's starting to look good on their attack, but that little bump right there, critical in allowing Magnus to get this ball out of their half.
He seems, I've been pretty physical all game. We've seen some demos, but almost finding an angle was JNaps. Magnus challenged by Garrett G. Garrett G again, super aggressive on the offensive half of the field and just keeping this ball away from Complexity. Magnus has an angle here, trying to fight against Garrett G. He's got the control. He got it past JNaps, not able to get it past Garrett. So now Garrett playing it slow against Metzenaris. JNaps coming to follow up, that's big. Magnus trying to get this. He gets a great challenge, and now it's going to be a chase down. Who gets to it first? Magnus has the angle, takes the shot. Metzenaris follows up, but it doesn't matter. JNaps makes the save, and G2 retains the lead.
And JNaps with some heavy lifting right there, keeping this lead for G2. What a fantastic save from him.
JNaps in midfield, staying with it, gets it under one. And now he's shadowing closely, gets it by Magnus. Magnus does catch it, pinching with Metzenaris. G2, less than a minute to go. If the score stands, they move on in the upper bracket. Metzenaris gonna take a shot downfield, forcing Garrett up, and he does make the save. Magnus. Back over to Metz, takes the shot. Garrett able to make another save. Garrett gonna take this one, 30 seconds left time. The worst enemy of Complexity right now. They gotta move downfield. Metzenaris trying to score a goal here. Garrett knocks it away again. Incredible on defense. You can't get it past this guy. JNaps gonna clear it out downfield. 15 seconds left for Complexity to get it downfield. Metzenaris gonna take it. He's got Garrett to beat. Magnus now. He's the only one back to get it. He does. Garrett G again knocks it away. Metzenaris gonna flick it up one more time. Too high. Guess who's home? Garrett G. They can't keep it up, and that is gonna do it. G2 moving on in the upper bracket, sending Complexity down.
And that was a nail biter, but G2 are able to close it out. We'll have to see another look at that JNaps save to keep that lead alive, but what a game to close it out. And a 7-11 dual force achievement unlocked by Garrett G. Who else other than Garrett G?
I mean, especially at the end of that game was almost a showcase of that. Just constant shots thrown to the side every single time. No matter where you threw the ball, Garrett was there to save it. Just great play by G2, and you see why they're a fan favorite in this Universal Open.
Absolutely. These guys, again, they're MVPs and like literally MVPs, Season 4 and Season 5 MVPs. These guys are just so good. We saw it on defense, on offense, just getting the job done. We saw Complexity, on the other hand, they struggled a little bit on both, but they still kept this series very close. And these guys, they're the real deal. We saw them get all the way to the grand finals last season. So even though they're in the lower bracket, they're not out of it yet. I can expect to see Complexity bounce back.
Yeah.
We got a little insight here to Garrett's answer when we asked about the NA-EU rivalry. He was like, I really don't know if EU's that good. And you know, we can take a look at Garrett's highlights here, the highlights from this whole last match, and you can really see where Garrett feels confident. He does not feel threatened by these EU teams.
This is just Garrett G. Garrett G is one of the best all-around players in Rocket League. He can beat you in every single phase of the game, and it was, again, showcased here. And we've been talking up Garrett G, but JNaps, his teammate, also
his
showing that
he's
an all-arounder too. And we talked to Garrett G and JNaps yesterday, and they had said, you know, we believe that we work together really well because we believe we are two of the best all-around players in the game. So, you know, them together just work so well, and it was shown here.
Yeah, and there were very few defensive mistakes. I mean, look at this play from JNAPS. That almost surely, that's a goal about 90% of the time when you have a breakaway like that, a bounce where a player's ahead of you. JNAPS, you know, making that play, and he also had multiple fantastic plays on defense, like the one play where he baited Metsinaris into jumping for the ball, and he just boosted right after it and hit it over Metsa's head. So even though Garrett got a majority of the goals, this was a team effort from G2. They're looking good and just playing very precision Rocket League.
Guys, well, thanks for breaking it down for me. When we get back from this commercial break, we've got Larry with an interview for our winners. That's going to be G2 right after this. It's coming at you from beautiful, and look at these shots, absolutely beautiful, Stamford, Connecticut, home of NBC Sports headquarters. Ladies and gentlemen, the matches today have been incredible so far. We've had two, and we've had two powerhouse performances from NA teams. You guys are watching the Universal Open presented by Brisk Dual Force Guava Ginger Limeade, and that's available exclusively at 7-Eleven. We know how much the Rocket League community loves rewards for tuning in, so we have a special one for you this weekend in celebration of the Grand Finals. Beginning Saturday at noon Eastern, you can head to your local 7-Eleven and enjoy a buy one, get one free offer on all Brisk beverages. For a guide on how to redeem the offer, you can type !Dual Force in chat. That's !Dual Force in the Twitch chat and get over to a local 7-Eleven at noon Eastern on Saturday as Day 2 action kicks off. The offer is available for a limited time and only while supplies last, so do not miss out. And you know something else you guys should not miss out on?
More Rocket League.
More Rocket League.
There you go. Yeah, no, I thought you were going to tell us.
No, yeah, I was waiting. But
that was I'm going to tell you.
I got you.
The next thing you should look out for is Larry down on the field with our winning team. He's got G2. Larry, break it down for me with these boys.
Thanks, guys. All right, let's talk to this winning team right here, G2. We were all together in New York, and you guys won that. Actually, it was in D.C. I'm getting confused. It was the East Regional, not Northeast Regional, the East Regional. We talked about how you guys wanted to slow things down this time around. Yeah. You think you accomplished that?
Yeah, well, there's just so much space in twos compared to threes, so you have so much more space on the field to dribble or do whatever you want. And if you rush the ball, you're just giving it to your opponents. So we just tried to slow it down and dribble, basically.
So was the strategy here to just let this guy take over? Because it seemed like he dominated there for you guys. We'll start with you, Jay, now.
No, I think I was pretty confident in that match because he was saving everything on defense. So I just waited for a mistake, and every time I saw one, I just tried to take a really good shot. But, you know, I had him in the backfield, so I give the credit to him.
How much confidence do you have in this guy? I mean, this guy pretty much took over those 4 games.
I mean, max confidence, if there's a thing. But, yeah, he's just amazing at the game.
We talked about going next for you guys in the upper bracket will be C9, a team that you guys know pretty well. You scrimmed with those guys yesterday and once again today. What did you guys learn?
They're just really fast. They play like it's threes in a twos game, but they're scary, like they're good at it. So we kind of have to adjust to their speed, but we still like just play the basics and dribble, and we'll be good.
How confident are you heading into this matchup tomorrow with C9?
If we're feeling like we are today, I think we can take it. Just got to watch out for squishy on the ceilings and stuff. That never fails. So we'll see what happens. I'm feeling pretty confident.
Want to give a shout out to your mother-in-law back there? I mean, your stepmom was out there watching.
Yeah, she's one of my biggest fans, so you know, shout out to her.
Yeah, she was kind of a little twitchy out there a little bit. You know, it's kind of hard for her to watch you guys, but good stuff. These guys are moving on. They will get C9 tomorrow in that upper bracket. Let's go back to you, Rachel.
Thank you so much, Larry. Thank you. I wonder if it's easy to watch the way this team wins over here. And speaking of winning, you got to do goals to win the game. Let's talk about the goals in that last match. 17. That makes 27 goals total. And we are at 5,400 meals donated for Soylent for the World Food Program USA. So pretty incredible, guys. If you want to join in and donate to the World Food Program USA, you can do that at wfpusa.org/Universal Open. Very cool opportunity. Now, our next match is going to be a big one. This is going to be Ghost versus Girls. I know you guys are excited. I am thrilled. We have just a few seconds for a short break, and when we get back, we are going to get into our third match of the day. So ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere.